In today's video, we're going to be living with the new VW Golf R line for a week. We'll break down things like cost, fuel consumption, and I'll share with you all the little details that I picked up on when living with this car. We'll get to take it to a car meet, we'll drive it at night, we'll drive it during the day, and drive it into this very beautiful and expensive home. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome to a brand new video. Now I've been living with the new VW Golf R line for the past week, and today I'm going to share with you my entire experience with the car. The ins and outs, the good, the bad, the ugly. We're even going to flip it upside down. Well, I'm joking on that one, but you get what I mean. Grab your drink, grab your food if you're eating, or grab some snacks and let's jump right into it. For a quick introduction, our car today is the R-Line Plus spec'd in Dolphin Grey Metallic. The optional extras on this car are the panoramic sunroof, Harman Kardon sound system, IQ driver assistance package, and the navigation system. Everything else is standard on this car, including the IQ Light Matrix LEDs, full leather wrapped seats with ventilation and heating, and the total price on this spec is about 774,000 rands. If you finance it over a period of 6 years at an interest rate of about 13%, you're looking at a monthly repayment of 15,600 rands. This was day one of me receiving the car, and I was going to jump in it and drive towards Johannesburg. While we're here, this car actually comes with proximity convenient locking and unlocking. What that means is if you have the key in your pocket, when you approach the door, it'll automatically unlock, and if you walk away from the car, it'll lock itself. The good thing is you can turn off the feature if you didn't want the car to do this. The other cool thing to do with proximity is the car always senses the key when you're nearby. It'll actually switch on the lights to invite you to come into the cabin in a way, but it only unlocks when you approach the door or when you're actually very close to the door. So it'll basically just play around with the lights to say, hey, come in, I'm available if you want to take me for a drive. So back to our drive. I fired the car and I was ready to make my way to Joburg. While I was at it, I saw this very cool VW Golf 8R. Look at those rims. Just looks so sick, hey? Ride quality and comfort is where I feel like VW has put a lot of effort into this car because it rides so smooth, mainly to do with that newer gearbox, the 8-speed Tiptronic, replacing the 7-speed dual clutch from the previous models. It really is smooth in all scenarios, whether you're parking and maneuvering or you're cruising on the highway. It is just so seamless, you don't even feel that it's there. But what I will say is the shift speeds on the gearbox are a lot slower than on the DSG, and it is noticeable because my car has a DSG, and when I jumped in it, I could instantly feel and see the much quicker gear changes. But on this sort of car, it doesn't really matter. If it was the GTI or Golf R, I'd say yes. When you jump in the car and drive, you can tell that VW has put so much effort into the chassis and the suspension, because while it is more smoother and comfortable than the previous models, it somehow feels more agile and light on its feet and delivers a more sportier driving experience overall. I finally made it to Joburg, and being around here just showed me how much appreciation people have for this car. It just grabs so much attention, and I wish I could capture some of the moments for you lot to see. People will point at you, they'll wave, they'll ask you questions about the car, they'll ask you what model it is, because these have just arrived in our country, and for the average person who doesn't know much about cars, they can't really tell if this is a GTI or Golf R or what's really going on here. So long story short, at the moment, this car grabs so much attention when you drive around. It mainly has to do with how good looking this car is. That illuminated VW logo at the front, the IQ lights, even at the back, the sequential turning signals, the design of the whole car. It just looks so good. While we're at it, let me share with you the full nighttime experience with the 8.5 R-Line Plus. When you unlock the car, you get that dynamic flicker of the turning signals, then the light bar and the VW logo come on. You also get this nice puddle lighting by the doors. At the rear, the dynamic turning signals do their thing as well, like on the front, and then you'll see the main internals of the tail lights have a little dance too, and you have a choice of different startup sequences for the tail lights and the front lights that you choose inside the infotainment screen. I think there's about 3 or 4 options. In terms of the interior, the ambient lighting fades in as soon as you open the door, and you already know the story with this. You have a plethora of colors to choose from: red, blue, green, pink, purple, you name it all. When driving at night, the IQ Light Matrix LEDs are just so insane. They can project their beam in so many different specific ways. They can detect cars around you, whether it's a car approaching, a car driving in front of you, and make sure they illuminate the road as best as possible without dazzling other drivers. They can even highlight road signs, and they're just so nice to experience while you're driving at night. If you pay careful attention to this clip, you'll actually notice that the beam is moving left and right. That is because the lights are calibrated to move with the steering wheel input, so they can follow the direction of the steering wheel, which is just crazy. Hard to see here, but best believe they do work in real life. When you slow down at a traffic light or stop sign, the turning lights will actually illuminate so you can see whichever direction you're about to turn into. To find out more about the driving experience at night, I'll be doing a full nighttime drive POV video, so don't worry, I'll get to share more of these lighting features in that video. So in summary, the theater and aura of this car just comes alive at night. Now let us actually talk about some of the things that really annoyed me about this car. Number one is actually the whole specification situation. I just feel like it's unnecessary to have the regular model and the Plus variant. Now, if you may remember, the base model is the Life, then there's the Life Plus, and there's R-Line and R-Line Plus. In the introduction, I actually lied to you. I told you this car is an R-Line Plus, and it's actually not. It's just the regular R-Line, which is highly specified. The only thing that separates the R-Line and the R-Line Plus is the number of equipment that comes standard. Now on the R-Line Plus, things like leather seats, IQ lights, and a reversing camera come as standard. Now if I buy the regular R-Line model and spec it with all these standard equipment on the R-Line Plus, doesn't that make it an R-Line Plus? I mean, think about it. But pound for pound, if you spec the R-Line and the R-Line Plus to the exact same specification, you actually end up saving about 9,000 rands on the R-Line Plus. So it actually costs you a bit less to go for more specifications on the R-Line Plus. I know this all sounds confusing, but that's the exact same point I'm trying to drive here. But anyways, here's what gave it away that this is actually not an R-Line Plus, just a regular R-Line, which is highly specified. On the steering wheel, there's a button that is labeled View. When you click this button, it cycles through different looking styles of the digital instrument cluster. On this particular car that we're reviewing right now, it is missing that big rev counter view with an R logo in it. Here's what I'm talking about. On the list of standard equipment for the R-Line Plus, there's something called R-Line Equipment, and I suspect you only get this rev counter view with that optioned out, and you only get it on the R-Line Plus. Hence, I suspect this is not an R-Line Plus, just a regular R-Line, which is highly specified. But now do you see how confusing this is? Something else I couldn't find on this car is the auto hold button, where when you come to a complete stop, you don't have to keep your foot on the brake for the car to remain still. Usually it's located right here underneath the electronic parking brake, but I couldn't find it anywhere, even in the infotainment screen. So I suspect maybe this car doesn't come with it. Maybe you only get it on the R-Line Plus. I don't know. I also don't like how these cars no longer come with the sunglass holder on the roof liner, so now I'm just forced to put my sunglasses here instead. That is kind of annoying. One feature that gave me so many heart attacks is the autonomous braking system. Now this feature can detect pedestrians, other vehicles, cyclists, you name it all. Even when you're parking, it can detect walls and objects around the car, and if the car thinks you're about to collide with something, it'll automatically brake. Now this sounds like a good feature, right? Except it gets confused a lot. by shadows, particularly if you're parking or maneuvering in a very dark environment and the car will suddenly slam on the brakes. Now you're panicking, you think you hit something. Hence, I said I had so many heart attacks because this actually happened to me a lot during the time that I was spending with this car. But to be fair, this feature is not perfect in many other cars as well. I've had the same issue in cars like the Hyundai i30N. But when you're driving in traffic on the highway, for example, it works absolutely flawlessly. If you don't react in time and you're about to collide with a vehicle, the car will first give you a sound warning, then if you don't react, it'll brake. Now let us talk about fuel consumption, but first let's get the specs out of the way. This car is powered by a 1.4 liter turbo 4-cylinder pumping out 110 kilowatts of power and 250 newton meters of torque. VW quotes this car at 6.3 liters per 100 kilometers in terms of average fuel consumption and has a total travel distance of 794 kilometers with a full tank of fuel. During my time with this car, I drove it for a total distance of 650 kilometers, average 7.2 liters per 100 kilometers, and at this particular moment, I was left with 70 kilometers of range. If you add that 70 kilometers of range to the 650 we covered, you get about 720 kilometers. So I think this car can actually do the 794 kilometers that VW promises. The lowest figure I got in terms of fuel consumption was 5.9 liters per 100 kilometers, but what I'll tell you is that it's not as efficient as the outgoing models, my car to be exact. It has a difference of about 2 liters per 100 kilometers with the same type of driving and same driving environments. Most of my driving with the car was a combination of an urban environment and driving on the highway, and the figure that I saw most of the time was about 6.8 to 7.2 liters per 100 kilometers. When I got the 5.9, I was actually babying the car to a certain degree. I got the car with a full tank of fuel and the highest range reading I saw was about 740 kilometers. Hence I said I believe VW that this car can actually do 794 kilometers on a single tank. So in conclusion, the car is not as efficient as the Mark 7 and 7.5 1.4 TSI motor, but I think the car still delivers some pretty good numbers. I don't know, do let me know in the comment section. Regardless of all the points that we touched upon in this video, the good and the bad, my time at this car was really amazing. And on day 2, I actually drove it to this car meet, which was so cool to have it around other VW models and see VW owners and drivers appreciate the car as well. And that finally concludes our time with the Mark 8.5 R-Line, guys. This has been an amazing car to spend time with and live with on a daily basis. We actually got to take it to this beautiful home as well. Angel Dust was shooting the house and he asked me to bring the car. This is why we're at this house. And it looked pretty cool and fitting of this house, I think, at least. And the natural question to ask, I guess, is would I actually upgrade my car to this one? And the answer is no, but hear me out. I think the next step for me is actually a performance car. So I'd actually rather get the 8.5 GTI. So please do subscribe to the channel, guys, so we can grow and one day be able to add something like the 8.5 GTI alongside my R-Line. I know the pricing thing is a big issue, but this car objectively is so amazing inside out. It's all the car one could ever need. So my advice is, if you're looking for something like this, rather go for a demo and save some money. Something like this example you're seeing on the screen right now. This is actually an R-Line Plus with 5,000 kilometers on the clock, and look at the price it's going for, 622,000 rand. But anyways, I really do hope you guys enjoyed this video and I was able to shed some light on what the ownership experience is like with the Mark 8.5 R-Line. And until next time, that's cheers from me.